we are going to have a look at the OpenZeppelin upgrade pattern. Over here I have an example contract which includes the OpenZeppelin library over here. You have to first install it with npm install OpenZeppelin truffle upgrades to be able to use it. Here we built our contract based on initializable, that's apart from this. And over here we have the function initialize, which is modified with this modifier. And the idea is that in the upgrade pattern you cannot use constructors, so you have to use something else instead, and that's the initializer. So in here you initialize whatever you want to initialize. Now we're going to deploy this contract with this piece of code, and this also requires the upgrades contract. And you see here we are getting a proxy deploy. Over here we're going to call that, and you see the deployer, that's the original function from Truffle to deploy contracts. And now we're going to use the deploy proxy. We give it here the parameter of the contract we want to deploy, and over here the value 42, so that's the initialize value for the function. Okay, let's deploy it over here. I've got Ganache running in the background, so it's deploying on Ganache. It's compiling the contracts, also already the second contract, which we'll see later on. And here you see the development network where it's deploying to. First the migration, which is always for Truffle. And now the deploy contract, so that's this contract or this script. Okay, it has been deployed. You see also here a new name, so that's part of the library. And here we see the output of the console.logs that we have over here. So it's showing the address here that we're going to use, and some interaction with the contract. First is going to get here with results the initial value, so that's 42 over here, and we can see it's 42 over here. Now we're going to call the set function with the value of 3. So that's this function, and it does some calculations, and that ends up in a value of 48 in the end. So this contract works. Now we're going to go to this contract, and we realized that the set function wasn't really what we wanted, so we made a different set function. And we also want to have an additional function, the set2 function. So this is the new contract. And then we're going to deploy it with this part that I had commented out. Otherwise it would have run directly. So now it's back again. And it looks like this. Now we're going to use the upgrade proxy. So that's different than the deploy proxy we had before. And we're calling that over here. And we are supplying the previous contract, or the address of the previous contract. The debug tool, so that's the new contract, and the deployer, that's the function to deploy contracts. So let's deploy that. Yes, it's deployed now. So we see two addresses of the debug 1 contract and the debug 2 contract, and they're saying the same addresses. So that's actually what we of course want, because the external address which you put in your website or whatever just stays the same even after your contract has been upgraded. Now we're going to do some tests with it. We're going to call the function set with a value of 5. And we expect a value of 5, which we see over here. We're going to call set2, and we get the value of 2 times 5 is 10. Now from the outside, via this address, we get a completely new contract, and we can keep doing this and upgrading it to newer version and adding more stuff to it. There are a few things you have to be careful with, so that's the initialize over here. And also if you include other libraries, you have to make sure that they use a similar pattern. So for example, if you have ERC20 contracts, there are special OpenZeppelin versions of ERC20 that are compatible with it. So look on the website. And what is also important that you have to take care of these types of variables. So you in all the different versions of the contract, you must keep the order and those variables the same. And if you would discard a variable that you no longer need it, you should still leave it in your source code to reserve the space that has been used already.